leadership move is leaders must be teachers. Now, as Denny Pauly, one of the co-founders of our old company, used to say, if you cannot teach, you cannot lead. This is really the basis of this first leadership move. It's so essential. So why is it so important? First is that you have to get your team on the same page. They have to be aligned. Ultimately, any operating system, especially a lean operating system, is about alignment. It is about all the pieces working together. And if you can't get everybody on the same page, very unlikely to have an effective system. Another reason it's important is that it's a way to demonstrate your conviction. Now, how do people really know that you're serious about this change? Well, being a teacher of it is one of the most fundamental and effective ways to convince people of your conviction. And third, lean is fundamentally about culture. It's about behaviors. And behaviors are very difficult to teach in the classroom. The most effective way is situational, meaning as the situation pops up, the opportunity to make the connection to the right behaviors becomes apparent. And unless the leader is prepared to be a teacher in that moment, then you might miss the opportunity to affect the culture. So that's why it's important. Why don't we talk about how? There's a lot of different mechanisms that you can use for being a teacher. Now, first and foremost is actually being a teacher in a classroom in a formal setting, in whatever that might be. Now, these are really sort of two different ways. One is momentary teaching. This could be 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute segments that you might grab at a staff meeting. But you still prepare for it, you treat it about learning, you treat it about a clearly defined message, and you become a teacher. Now, in more formal classroom settings, one of the most powerful mechanisms that we've used is what's called cascade teaching. What this means is that a leader teaches their staff, each of those staff members teach their staffs, and so on throughout the organization. When you're sitting in a classroom and your boss is the instructor, you certainly know that you should take it seriously. You know that they're going to understand whether you comprehended the material or not. And if you have to stand up in front of your staff and teach, you can bet that you're going to prepare yourself to understand that material well. So the benefits of cascade training are tremendously strong, although often avoided because it puts the leader at risk, and we often like to avoid that. The second method that's really effective is coaching. So training is great because it's very consistent. You can train many people at one time, and so it's also very efficient. Coaching is much more one-on-one. It's not efficient. It's not very consistent because it depends on the situation, but you can really get at the heart of someone's learning gaps, where they are, what they need to learn, and at the point of activity. So ultimately, coaching is perhaps the most effective method, even though it's not always consistent and not always efficient. Another really effective way that's often overlooked is just simply asking questions. Effective questions that shape how people think become a form of learning. They teach themselves by trying to answer the question that you as a leader are asking. Now, other methods that start to come into play are things like creating new situations for people, opportunities for them to learn through situational opportunities. In coaching soccer, we have a phrase that the game is the best teacher. And what that means is that often the coach's role is to design a situation for the student or the player to then learn. What does this look like in your organization? Well, it could be benchmarking, exposing people to things that they need to learn about. It could be giving them a new assignment, whether it's a full-time job or a part-time assignment, a temporary role that allows them to embrace a new opportunity, a new situation, or it could be a new challenge or goal that they have to pursue. All of those types of situations create opportunities for learning. And finally, reflection. Especially as a leader, this becomes group reflection. Group reflection becomes the opportunity for learning to occur and for the leader to sort of guide that learning to a determined destination. All of these are methods that you can use. Ultimately, when you put them all together, the leader as a teacher becomes most effective. But But if you want to create a change, if you want to create a change like Lean, one that's fundamentally based on thinking, on a way of thought and a set of behaviors, then you as a leader must be a teacher. This is non-negotiable. It's just a matter of finding the right methods that fit you and your style so that you as a leader can be a teacher.